My name is Renison Jeffrey, and this is the Workers' Rights Platform. We are broadcasting live from the Workers' Rights Network. Before we go on, I do urge you to subscribe to this platform and press the bell notification. This platform is for you. Now, the other day somebody asked me something about Philip Alexander. And we had a lengthy discussion. But before we go into that discussion, I want to head over to a different subject. A creator from overseas would have sent me a video and asked me to do a reaction on it. And this is it. There are always certain people in society that try to monopolize and capitalize on whole economies, even extending their strength and power to the whole world, have that kind of influence. So to say in the least, there will be always people spreading misinformation about particular individual. And let me dive straight into this topic. Donald Trump may be unorthodox by some of the words he might be saying, some of the speech he might be making. And sometimes we could pass it off as, out of context speech that the media is always spinning. But I do believe in my heart of hearts that Donald Trump have the best interests for the people of the USA, the United States. And I believe under his leadership that America could go forward and the rest of the world could benefit from such. We had to face it. America, no matter how we might use colorful words as to describe their history, they would have done it. They would have conquered the world by the sheer factor of their influence. And whatever happened to America could or does affect the rest of us in the world here. So there's a video that would have touched my heart about Donald Trump, and let us go into this video now.
I now want to bring forth a friend who has, he is deceptive in that his social style is of such. One can miss his seriousness, and his commitment for their success is beyond argument. When we opened this Wall Street project and we talked about it, he gave us space at 40 Wall Street, which was to make a statement about our having a presence there. And beyond that, in terms of reaching out and being inclusive, he's done that too. And created for many people a comfort zone when I ran for the presidency in 84 and 88. And many others thought it was either laughable or something to avoid. He came to our business meeting here in New York because he has this sense of the curious and a will to risk to make things better. And so aside from all of his style and his pizzazz, he's a serious person who's an effective builder of building for the builder of people. Last year, he was a part of our workshop, of our panel workshop on what are the challenges and opportunities. And so this, a year later, Donald Trump, for a few minutes, challenges and opportunities to embrace the underserved communities. Donald Trump.
Well, it is an honor to be here, and I was with Jesse last year, and we had a lot of fun, and it was a little different. Jesse started off by saying, most of the wealth in this country is in the hands of a few. And I thought to myself, is that a bad thing? What's wrong with that, Jesse? But he did have an expression last year, and I was just telling Roger, he had an expression last year, the wall on wall must fall. And you haven't used it today, and I'm very disappointed in this, Jesse, because I thought it was a great expression. And I heard the expression about 14 times, and then he came to me at the end of the session, and he said, listen, I want some office space in your building on Wall Street, because the wall on Wall will fall. And I said, it's okay, Jesse, I'll make a good deal with you. I'll get you some space. You'll pay about $40 a foot. And he said, no, I don't want to pay 40. I said, how about 30? No. It was the cheapest deal I ever made in the history of 40 Wall Street. Is that right? He got it for nothing. He's a very tough negotiator. We know that, right? Nah, he's a terrific guy. We love him, and I'm here for him. And the snow came, and I said, gee, nobody's going to show up, and look at this place, it's packed. Well, I'll just say a few words. I mean, Wall Street and New York City and this whole region is doing unbelievably well. I'm building a job on the West Side, which is the largest job ever approved by the New York City Planning Commission. You see it going up along the West Side Highway. It's almost 10 million square feet. It's 18 buildings, and it's really going to be something. I will tell you, a large percentage of the people, and especially in construction, that are building these great jobs are black and minorities, and I'm very proud of it. We have close to 25%, and I think the number's going up, and they do a great job. There are no better builders than we have in New York, and a big percentage of that is black and minority folks. So I just want to thank everybody in the room for being here. I look forward to some questions. And then I don't know how we're ever going to leave this building today, because if you look outside, it is terrible. But we'll figure a way. There's always a way. And thank you, Jesse, and congratulations.
And with all of that wealth, Trump wants a free ticket to the fair tonight.
You can't make this up. Now, did you catch the part when Reverend Jesse Jackson said that as a black man, when he first ran for president, Donald Trump was one of the only people who came in support of his campaign? When other people thought it was laughable, Donald Trump was there. Exactly. But the fake news media today is trying to tell you and I that this man here has always hated black people and minority, that he's a racist. You can't make this up. I found this video online and I had to share it. You let me know what you think about this in the comment section. God bless you and your family. God bless Donald Trump. Catch you on the next one. Wow.
Later, Donald Trump, for a few minutes, challenges and opportunities to embrace the underserved communities. Donald Trump.
Right, we are back. Now, people will always purport or try to sell the idea that Donald Trump is racist. Is not this video a stark contradiction to such comments or views that may be making its way in the public domain? Now we have to ask ourselves why things like this is not highly publicized within the public. There are elites that want you to believe that a particular person is racist. There are elites that want you to believe that particular people are not good for the economy. How it is in this instance that Donald Trump would have supported a black man. Yeah, a black man. Isn't that not contradiction? A contradiction as to what you are hearing in the public domain today? Isn't that? Now, let us move on to the subject of Philip Edward Alexander. Now, just like many of you, I would have saw Philip Alexander within the public domain quarreling for certain things, blah, 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 blah. And, you know, plenty of the people outside, they would have told me, boy, Philip, why go with Philip? And I would have to admit, in the beginning, I didn't know why to a certain degree, but he was saying certain things that kind of sung in a particular way. But questions you have been asking, or I have been asking myself as to why the government cannot do certain things. And being around the gentleman, although he have that public persona about this aggression, talking to the gentleman and working in close relation with him, I would have seen a different side of him. I would have seen the side, not what you're seeing in public, you know. I would have seen the side that, you know, not an angel. I would have seen something that not much of you are privileged to see. Now, the gentleman would have assisted a lot of people, whether we like it or not. They are ungrateful people. Whether you are like you, whether you like it or not, they are real ungrateful people outside. And such a person will do very well within the parliaments of Trinidad and Tobago, probably even prime minister of this country. But not much of us are willing to accept that change. Not much of us are willing to do the things that that gentleman is able to do. Who you would have seen in Trinidad at any point in time would have walked around Trinidad and see the very people on the ground level and have a discussion with them. Who? Who minister you will see walking the road and engaging with the public, walking on the pavements, showing up shabby drains, and attacking certain contractors or certain conglomerate in Trinidad in the way Philip Edward Alexander would have done. He would have set the trend on a lot of things. And just like any Trinidadian, when election time comes, many of the people never show support. Now, I'm not saying that the gentleman is totally perfect. I am saying that a fella like him, if Philip Edward Alexander would elevate to the heights of power within Trinidad and Tobago, it could be a different place. It could be an upsetting place to the rest of the oligarchies and them that really control Trinidad. You feel you control Trinidad. We would have started off down here as slaves in Trinidad, black people. Indians as indentured labor, but some of them were slaves too. And history will show you that. And although history would have changed, many of us are still at the bottom level. No matter how much success many of you would have enjoyed, but we are at a level that we are not the movers and the shakers of our own, of this economy in which we was introduced to firstly. There are always puppeteers, puppet masters that exist here. And many of the young people are being led astray by these voices and them because they are recruiting agents in any one of the parties and them that recruit you and sell you an ideology before you build up that defense to think logically. So from small, they introduce politics to you, regardless of whatever side they're able to build up a base. But how much of you are really thinking critical or really watching the situation that we are facing in Trinidad and Tobago? It's as if everybody, most of us are heading towards a cliff. Plenty of us going and fall off. And none of us are smart enough to say, what just went on there? We just continue going. It's like ox hasten to the slaughter. Sheep, the same way. And they are falling, going with a smile on the face, and they're seeing imminent danger ahead. And if Trinidad continues to go down a particular path, we could end up in a serious position. Now, Philip would have made a point at time concerning the education system. The private schools and the government schools. What's the difference in the quality of education? Is there a different syllabus? Why are they getting more results in certain schools and certain schools a different result? What it is a different approach? What it is. And then you have to ask yourself, every year this thing going on, how can this change? Does the Minister of Education decide to change such a thing? Or are she interested? She's a she now, but is she interested, a matter of fact, in changing that? Or changing the status quo? When somebody knows a particular thing, I mean, the mind always take the line of least resistance. If you don't know something, you can't think about it. What you don't know can come to memory. And if the mind would have known that, all right, plenty of you who would have gotten addicted to alcohol, if you would have known that, if you see people every time they fall into difficulty, they go and they drink, what you think will happen to you when you fall into difficulty? Now, I am seeing that the media is trying to sell an ideology that Philip is this big, aggressive man. Rah, 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 rah. And as I tell you, there are certain things, I'm comfortable in speaking. But this man could do a lot for Trinidad and Tobago. If many of you will just reach out and, consult with him. I did it. The other time that, I was skeptical. And I was saying it take me a couple of times before, yeah, boy, this man saying something that could benefit us here in Trinidad. And, things could go better. Right. So to you young people, time is of the essence. Believe in something that, could do better for you. And although we would have been preaching, hey, but you don't study the PNM right now, they're destroying Trinidad and Tobago. It's true. That is true. But if we enter into another relationship with somebody without proper criterias and proper defining of the relationship, then we are still open to a worse off position. And what I was advocating for here as an activist is to let the powers that be who are vying for your vote know that you have criterias. Know that you want a certain type of person with a particular type of mindset to represent you. And vote for issues and not personality. So in the areas of library, Point 14, in which we are strongly advocating for, although we just be all over the country, advocating on different issues, making connection with people even up the islands. Our political choice coming in this election is very serious. It's very serious. And the relationship we already established that the PNM is no good for us. And in moving forward, who you choose will determine your future by the criterias that you decide. Not they, you. And now is our time for us to come together as groups and negotiate with the two vehicles that it have there set up. If PNM decide to continue, so let them go. If you're getting a better option by being a part of the UNC or jumping in a party that that have a deal with any one out of the parties, that is good. But it's now is a time for change, a matter of fact. Now is a time for us to put our heads together and bounce ideas, think tanks. Now this is what this is. This is not no one man show. There are a lot of people behind the scene that making this happen. Still till this day, some of us have different ideology, and some decide to they don't want to hear certain people talk, to drown out others. But everybody style of thinking and watch and how their minds break down and define reality is important. So that is why we entertain a lot of statements or a lot of guests from people that is on the ground. And if you listen to this thing, hold this thing entirely, we must admit that it have an issue in Trinidad. But everybody say it in a particular way. So we here on this Workers' Rights platform always try to reach out to you, the normal man on the ground, to come and say something. We ain't begging you, you know. You have something to say. Many of you have it to say. I know you have it inside of you. And what we are acting as the amplifiers. You saying it, we are just amplifying what you are saying. We are just echoing your voice. So this platform here is something that, in the past we would have asked some of you to invest in it, Some of you did, some of you didn't. Some of you didn't see the need for a platform as this. But many of the people outside, they could testify to its, how to say it, to the results that they get. So much cases, there are many cases that, we say we are responding to, but sometimes we can't. Limited resources and limited persons. And we are asking you, the public, take your future seriously. What we are doing here is not cheap and is not without a cost. Because everybody know that any time you decide to do something, there are three things come into play: time, cost, and risk. The risks are bad. The cost sometimes is bad. So reach out to us. Be a part of this. Let us sit down together and think. Let us develop ways and strategies in moving forward, in cleaning up this thing that we call Trinidad and Tobago. This is our home. And it's about time that we, the people, clean it up. Only you could do it. And that has happened once every 5 years. The government have a chance to do it the whole of the 5. We have a chance to do it once every 5 years. And let us take that into consideration. It's not equal. This thing not equal. They could fix the situation in the morning like this. We had to take at least 5 years. Once we get a chance. And let us take that into consideration. So many of you that, outside there, reach out to us. Let us discuss. Let us have this national discussion. Because there are people that are thinking just like you, because we would have went to Rio Claro and it's the same thing. Grandy, the same thing. There are people that are reaching, there are connections that are forming, and people is of the same ideology, but because they are thinking this, they feel that they are in isolation. So this platform is a way of, connecting. Yes, there are people thinking just like you in Point 14. What we are going to do, we must mobilize the people. It's about high time that we move from one place to the next. I know this thing's supposed to be really and truly about Donald Trump, about Philip Alexander, but really and truly this is about you. You. When we talk about this story with Donald Trump, don't let misinformation get into your head. So without further ado, thanks for listening and sitting down with me and just having this normal chat today. Again, my name is Venison Jeffrey and this is the Workers' Rights Platform. We are broadcasting live from the Workers' Rights Network. Subscribe to our channel. Be a part of this fastest growing movement. Reach out to me. Reach out to the Workers' Rights team. And with that, we are out. Thanks.
Workers' rights and human rights.
And it's that.